with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Who you with, Kirk? I'm out. Welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. Welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. Welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. Welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. Welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. Welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kirk, though. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome. I'm welcome to Speak on it. Welcome to Speak on it. I'm welcome to Speak on it. Welcome to Speak on it. I'm welcome to Speak on it. Welcome to Speak on it. I'm welcome to Speak. Welcome to Speak. Welcome to Speak. I'm 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 who you with, Kirk, dog. Welcome to Speak on it with who you with, Kirk, dog. I'm who you with, Kirk, dog. I'm back in the house to be. Man, that was a good time off. I needed that time. Hold on. You know, Instagram be tripping sometimes. Got to set this camera up correctly. Because other than that, it won't. Oh, that won't work. That's not going to work. Instagram be kind of tripping on the camera. So want to make sure I'm on that right. And they could be able to see my face. Hopefully y'all had a great weekend or the great 2 weeks that I've been off. But well, if you're on Instagram, what I'm gonna tell you to do is swing over to YouTube. Swing over to YouTube and join the chat over there because Instagram don't want to make me great. So we're gonna call it the night on Instagram. So definitely check out YouTube. The link is in the profile, and you can join us live and chat live with us in the chat room. So other than that, I hope y'all had a great couple of weeks. I needed that time off, had to refresh and get my mind right a little bit. So and then some other things that was going on. But I've been trying to keep up with some things on that trial. Yeah, so that's going to be, we'll discuss that later on tonight. Want to welcome everyone on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, Twitter. D Live is in the house. What's going on? Radio Chaos Canada is in the house tonight. I'm back. I'm live and in full effect tonight. So we can get this party started. A couple of things, couple of stories we're going to hit on. And of course, you know, as always, y'all can also, if it's something I don't talk about, you can always put it in the chat and we can discuss it. So I'm trying to make sure everything else is showing up properly, you know, after being gone for a couple of weeks, kind of rusty a little bit. But want to shout out to Weedy. Had actually sent me the story about Demajai Oliver, the 17-year-old here in Dallas, that was found dead on 183, which is John Carpenter Freeway over in Dallas, Texas. And that's a strange story about what's going on. The family is asking for your prayers and help. If anybody have any information or seen anything, please notify DPD, Dallas Police Department, to try to get this family closure. 17 years old. He actually was had been texting his mom that night but never made it back home. and the story itself is kind of strange. So if you know something about it, please help this family out. Say something, and let's bring closure to them. And it's a sad story all the way together. And from my understanding, he's supposed to have been meeting up with someone and never did make it. Or if he made it, they don't know. So, but from the article I read, the person that he's supposed to be meeting up with said they never did see him. And then later that day on April the 1st, the police department identified him as the teen police found in the middle of John Carpenter Freeway near Love Field Airport early Thursday morning. The mother said, when I got here, and is when they came in and they told me the information, and she just literally passed out. Um, says she's feeling angry and hurt, and she lost. Um, I could just imagine losing a child, but a 17-year-old that had goals in life, um, which is bad enough. Losing a child, but this young man wanted to be a aviation mechanic, so he had to been a pretty smart kid, and left the house and never came back. Um, so parents, please love your kids while you have the opportunity. Please love them, and hold on to them. Um, let them know how much you love them, and find out what's going on in your kid's life, because unfortunately, a lot of kids are left to um, raise themselves. I'm not saying that's the situation with this, because from the story I read, the mother was doing everything she needed to do. That child was love. So definitely find out who your kids leaving with, they friends. Find out all you can. But most importantly, love your kids. Love them. Um, so Miss Oliver, we are praying for you. Hopefully you do get closure soon. And that's it's always terrible when you have to speak about kids. It's terrible. So um, and if you need anything, please reach out to me. Reach out to me. Um, so definitely you can text me or call me 972-591-3665. 972-591-3665. Um, so here's Greg Abbott. This is why it's so important that we get out and let our voice be heard. And actually, I don't think this is a bad thing. Actually feel like this might work in our favor. So Greg Abbott's supposed to have been throwing at the first pitch at the super spreader. I mean, at uh, the opening of the baseball game, the Texas Rangers game. He decided he wasn't going to do it. He's boycotting baseball, all baseball event, for the simple fact because MLB have changed the All-Star game out of Georgia due to the voting laws. Now, take it, Greg is also trying to get that same law here too. That's why it's so important that we get out and vote. Um, Radio, I'm sorry, I didn't see your message. He said, I can't imagine um, what his family is going through. Yes, a 17-year-old child. I pray and hope I never have to experience that, because that's not good. But um, so Greg Abbott, he want to boycott baseball. What- I say it's not a bad thing. because it's probably going to help us out in the long run. Because these same folks that he's talking about boycotting probably a bit supporters of him. And without their support, we could get his tail out of office real easy. That's why it's important to vote. See, this man is trying to change the voter laws here in Texas. Basically, modern day voter suppression. And we need to put a stop to it. We need to vote his ass out. I'm going to be straight up honest. We got to vote him out. He need to go. So at this point, he can boycott baseball all he want to. I don't care. I wouldn't go into the game no way. Besides, they open up at 100% today. The super spreader, allegedly super spreader. So that's going to be interesting within itself, because even though people have gotten tested, received a vaccine, matter of fact, I think it's the Dallas Stars or one of these professional teams, or, or was it? It may have been for the Rangers. One of the coaches or the Dallas Stars coach, one of them had received both vaccine, been vaccinated for a while, and they said apparently his test came back positive, and said he been vaccinated for a while. So it's really uh, strange. He said he believed it was a false test result. That's what he said. I don't know, but still, just because you had the vaccine does not mean you still cannot get it. Yeah, you may not have the symptoms. You may feel a little bit better. It may not be that bad, but still, here it is. People are still testing positive even after getting the vaccine. So we still have to protect ourselves. Um, Radio said, what a loss. Abbott won't throw out the first pitch. The fans would be so disappointed. I won't. I've talked with some people. I'm not going to repeat what some of them said. So, um, but hey, that's his choice. That's his choice. Now, let the truth be told, that's probably one of the reasons why he opened everything back up, allegedly opened everything back up, because he talked about how baseball is American pastime. It's so important. No, it's really not important to everybody, because exactly how many um, blacks are in the baseball? Talking about African Americans, because we have a lot of blacks in baseball, but they're from different countries. How many African Americans that are in there? So it always been a little bit different when it came down to baseball. That's the reason why they had to start up the Negro Baseball League, because they would not allow them to play in it. So now they go to all these other country and get these other players, and we have a lot of American players here that are great. So let the truth be told, I don't give a damn about baseball. I'm gonna just be straight up honest with you. I don't care. So yeah, I've gone to baseball games, but it's not something I have to do. And right now, I wouldn't spend money on a no way. Why they get a new stadium and they haven't won a World Series? I'm just asking. You rewarding them for making it to the playoff, but not for winning the World Series. Why spend all that tax dollar for them? That's just my opinion. Um, Radio S are the Texas Rangers in Dallas or Houston. They actually in Arlington. They're right next to the Cowboy Stadium. Jerry Ware moved next door to them. So they literally probably uh, maybe 5 or 10 blocks from them. Welcome, Darlene Winkies. James is watching on Facebook. Welcome to the show. You can actually live chat with us in the chat room. And look like you're on my personal page. So if you swing over to the Speak on it with Who You With Kurt Dog page, I can actually put your message up on the board. So definitely welcome to the show. You are always welcome to come on the show and also live chat with us, interact with us, let us know where you at, where you watching at, because we have people from all over that actually watch. Radio is from Canada. We have people from, I think it was France one time that was watching. We get a lot of people all over. We internationals. Uh, but yeah, but to answer your question, radio, they're actually uh, they're in Arlington, which is right by Jerry Ware, and it's I haven't been there in years. It probably been at least 7, 8 years since I've been to a baseball game, and I don't I don't cut for them. That's my opinion. I know a lot of people that do. My grandfather used to watch baseball all the time, and I used to watch it with him. But the way they do on things today, it haven't changed since haven't changed much. I won't say it haven't changed. It haven't changed much since the old days because here it is. Even though they have um, black people on their team, but not necessarily they all black. They're from other countries, and but they're not getting a lot of African Americans on their team, and there's a lot of great players here in America that don't get that opportunity. So because of that, I choose not to support them. And for um, what Greg Abbott doing, I don't care no way. It's a political stunt for him. Um, Radio says, sorry, I forgot the Houston Astros here in Houston. Yes, I used to watch quite a bit when Nolan Ryan were playing. I used to watch it all the time, um, and the game was interesting. I remember the time somebody charged the mound that time, and he cold cocked the dude at his old age. I'm like, boy, that was a good right hand. So, um, but with Greg Abbott, he talking about Texas Governor Abbott declined to throw out Rangers' first pitch, citing MLB stance against Georgia voting laws. See, that's why it's so important for us to get out and vote. Because if it wasn't a problem with us, if our votes did not count, he wouldn't be taking a stance on it. But if this was a minority person or BLM saying I'm protesting MLB or protesting Georgia because of their voting laws, it'll be a big fuss about it. Here it is. He concerned about a whole nother state, but he's trying to distract us from the fact that he's running. He's going to be on the ballot next year. Then on top of that, we haven't forgot about this ice storm that you signed off on to do rolling blackouts because you came and made the announcement of doing it. So he's trying to distract us to keep that off our mind. But still, there's still some people without electricity today. I think right before I went off the took the break I needed, It was some people that an apartment complex, the management company sent them all a letter saying, hey, you have to find somewhere else to go because the damage that was done from that ice storm where the electricity did not have to be cut off in. But still, you concerned about Georgia. Why don't you worry about Texas? But once again, we know you don't give a damn about us. So that's my stance on it. I can't wait until next year. You gotta go. You and the other two stooges also. Y'all have to go. We're gonna vote y'all out just like we did Trump. And that's all to it. We need everybody to step up since he want to use Georgia for an example. But guess what? We need to show him what Georgia did and painted the state peach and got him out. So yeah, we need to stand up just like Georgia since he want to use that for an example and make sure we get him out of office, get Dan Patrick, Ken Paxton, and many more of them. Don't forget the Board of Education is up for election also. So we need to get them all out of office. And what he's trying to do is trying to keep the attention off of him for he can slide in there. Now, player, you got to go. Chaos said, I heard Texas has 21 voting bills waiting to be introduced. Yes, they do. They have a lot of them. See, he's trying to keep us distracted for we won't pay attention to it. And that's the problem that we have with Greg Abbott, because everything he done, he followed everything that Trump tried to do. Greg Abbott supported it. If Trump told him go jump off of a bridge, he would have done it. So what we need to do is make sure we send him packing, just like we did Trump. We don't need to take it no more. Need to make sure we send him home. Let him go do all the things he want to do. Ted Cruz, when he come up on the following election, he got to go too. You leaving Texas in the middle of an ice storm. I still feel like you went to go meet old girl from Amarillo, the one that committed that terrorist attack. That probably been, she called it a company meeting. It probably been all the people that was part of it that hadn't been caught yet. So yeah, we need to send Greg Abbott. Oh, I almost said something. We need to send him up out of here. Need to send him packing. And let's get drinking some tea tonight. So that's my stance on it. I want to know how y'all feel about that, because Greg Abbott, it's time for him to go. Then when the power failure happened, first thing they did was blame President Biden. President, I'm going to say Obama, President Biden. He was only in office for a month. And y'all blaming him? Like Beto said, Republican been running Texas for the last 20 years. You knew what was going on. Every summer we hear about rolling blackout. And you okay with it. Rolling blackouts. In the middle of a winter storm, you okay with rolling blackouts. And they're saying there's more people passed away from that winter storm than what they actually thought. The numbers are much higher than what was reported. But you concerned about Georgia. You concerned about Georgia, and you're not concerned about Texas. That tells you a whole bunch. So yeah, it's time for Greg to go. He's well overdue. So he need to go on up out of here. Radio said, good thing Greg Abbott didn't throw out the first pitch. He probably would have spiked. Spiked. See, somebody else actually, I'm not gonna go that way, but somebody else had mentioned something else, and I just said, okay, everybody have their own opinion, but yeah, um, I understand what you're saying though, radio. I definitely understand that. Um, Habit brain is a rolling blackout. Okay. Um, yeah, I'm gonna say that too. But it's time for him to go. It really is. It's time for him to go. I wonder if Dan Patrick paid the $1 million to uh, Pennsylvania yet. I believe it was Pennsylvania um, that caught the two people that committed fraud. He said he was going to pay $1 million for anybody who caught people committing fraud, and there was two Trump supporters committed fraud, voted for Trump twice. So I'm wondering if he paid their money yet out of his campaign. Inquiry minds want to know. And we can't forget about Ken Paxton. He trying to avoid these charges. Welcome to the show, Sabrina Parson. Thank you for watching on Facebook. You can live chat with us in the chat room. It's probably best to go to my to the page, speak on it with who you with, Kurt Dog. Then I can actually put your comments up on the stream if you decide to write in. But yeah, so Ken Paxton, he need to be held accountable for the two charges he have. Um, the end of last year, the FBI started investigating him for abusing his power. Then all these people that was in his office, either he fired them in retaliation, allegedly retaliation, or else they quit because of what he was doing, and they didn't want any part of him. A group of his team all signed the letter that went to the FBI, and they investigating him. That's why he was supporting this bogus election fraud, for the simple fact he felt like Trump won, and he was trying to get pardoned by Trump, but it didn't work. Trump threw y'all deuces and rolled on up out of here, and so we need to hold them accountable. And the reason why he had those fraud charges, because he was signing people up and not telling them that he actually was making money off of this company he was trying to get people to sign up for. So that's the fraud charges on that. And then it's a lot of other people people on the ballot next year. The Board of Education. The Board of Education. Now remember, Greg Abbott got upset when a teacher did an assignment that compared George Floyd killing, or the killing of black men here in America, to the Klans. And Greg Abbott was very outspoken about that, but he don't want to teach the real history of America, because that's a stain that will never go away. As long as we continue to teach our kids about it, it will never happen again. You may try to make it happen, but no, we need to take a stand and make sure our kids know about it, their kids know about it, and continue to talk about it. Because when you have certain people that is over what is taught in school, they eliminate the history of America, the true history of America, how America was stolen, and how slavery went on for over 400 years. They don't want to talk about that part of it. And let the truth be told, there's still some people in slavery today. So yeah, we definitely need a vote next year. Change at the Board of Education, put people in there that is actually going to teach the real, have the real history of America taught in school, and not this sugarcoat where they try to just talk about certain Black history. Let's talk about all of it. Matter of fact, I think they need to have a whole course on Black history. That should be a subject in school for they can learn the truth about it. Um, Radio said Cruz has been laying low lately. He must be working on his next epic show of stupidity. I wouldn't put it past him at all. Then again, no, last time he laid low, allegedly, he was in quarantine. And nobody didn't know until he came out to vote for the Supreme Justice. Nobody knew he was in quarantine. So who knows? Him taking trips to Mexico, come back. He don't quarantine when he come back. He out there passing out water. After they signed the law, they said if you travel out of the country, you need to get tested coming back, and also quarantine once you get back. He didn't do none of that. The next day, he out passing out water for photo ops. So that's why we need to get his ass out too. Oh, excuse me. That tea is good. But yeah, so we definitely need to make sure we continue to pay attention to what these fools are doing in office, because they don't care about us. We need to make sure we let them know we're not going to support them. We're going to vote them out. I like the way Radio said counter the laws are. If an elected official get into office and they don't do what they say they're going to do, they call a re-election to vote them out. That's what we need to adopt. We need to do that to keep folks like this and all these other clowns that are running this country, get them out of office. And um, so I, I'm gonna switch stories. I found another story after I posted what we was gonna talk about tonight, and I'm gonna hit on this one story real quick because it was it's crazy the things people are teaching their kids, and that's crazy within itself. So, looking at this story, Virginia school system eyes post that mark George Floyd. Now, this came out 32 minutes ago. This happened in Roanoke, Virginia. A Virginia school system is investigating a social media post in which supporters of a high school football team used a photo of Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin kneeling on George Floyd's neck to celebrate a victory. To celebrate a victory. See, that's what's wrong with America today. Because these parents are these so-called um, mentors or teachers or whoever, allowing these students to do these type of things. And they probably thought it was all fun and game. But here it is, you calling this man a hero. That was a coward ass move that Derek Chauvin did. And it's one of those things where he need to be held accountable. He murdered that man. And y'all using that as a photo to celebrate a victory? Really? You using his photos to celebrate a victory. of a man that was murdered, that was seen all across this world, and you think that's the best photo you could use as a victory? Yeah. Welcome to the show, Charles Smith. I see you watching on Facebook. Welcome to the show. You can actually live chat with us in the chat room. So that's just bad within itself. You know, what are you teaching your kids? Because that's not the right thing to teach them. That's teaching them hate. Think this, because he was a police officer, he did the right thing. No, he didn't. He did everything wrong. And you're teaching your kids to do what's wrong also. You're justifying for doing what's wrong. And that's a problem within itself, because you shouldn't teach kids that. Hate starts in the household. It's no one that is born with hate in their heart. That's taught. And it starts at home. It started at home. And speaking of the disgrace officer, ex-officer Derek Chauvin, um, I've been trying to keep up with this trial and listening to some of it. Um, Welcome to the show, Fresh Veggies. Salute, showing love. Glad to see the show. Salute, Kurt Dog. Thank you for tuning. Thank you for tuning in. Let us know where you're tuning in from. What city and state you're in, or if you're in another country, because we have them all over. So, salute to you. Thank you for tuning in. You can also chime in. Um, you can also chime in as we discussing certain things, and if it's something that you want us to talk about, we can also do it. Also, oh, you from Dallas? D-Town is in the house. What up? What up? What up? Right around the corner. So, Oak Cliff is my hood. So, and welcome to the show. Don't be a stranger. Make sure you like, share, tell a friend about us. We are live Sunday through Thursday, um, 8 p.m. Central Time. And on Thursday, we have Miss Risky in the house. Matter of fact, I told y'all before I took a break, Miss Risky been working on something. Marcella Smith, boy, it's a good night tonight. Marcella Smith is in the house. What up, my people? Um, so I told y'all before I took the break, um, Miss Risky been working on some stuff. So I believe I believe we're gonna do this on Thursday. So you want to tune in on this. It's gonna be very interesting. We're gonna do the whole show on this, not unless something crazy happen. But the whole show is gonna be dedicated to what Miss Risky had worked hard to do. And so that's gonna be a show you really want to tune in. Marcella's talking about Thursday is my favorite day. Yeah, I know it's my favorite day too. It's my favorite day too, because I can hang out with my girl. She keep me in check. And matter of fact, I talked to her this past weekend. I hadn't talked to her since we've been off, um, and I was like, you know what? Let me call my girl, see what's going on, because she would text me, and I'm I would text her back, but it may be wait the next day or something. Um, but she doing good. She doing good. She can't wait. She ready for Thursday night. It's gonna be a real good show about that. And like I said, you're gonna we changing a couple of things up about the show. And you can, if you've been following the show for a while, um, you can you'll realize the changes that is going to happen, that is taking place. We don't have not just gonna come out and say, "Oh, we're doing this, we're doing that." We're just gonna do it. We're just gonna make it do what it do. So, but how do y'all feel about this trial, this Derek Chauvin trial? Because for me personally, um, I've heard different people point of views of it. Um, I'm like this: justice need to be done the right way. Now, as for my opinion, I know what I've seen. I don't see why we wasting tax dollars, but I understand we have to do it the right way. I want to know what outcome do y'all want? Because they're saying it's still another 2 weeks of testimony that's going to come out. Um, I hear what you're saying, radio. The video speak for itself. It was a murder, no doubt about it. But I say it all the time on the show. There's a difference between black laws and white laws. Look at Amber Geiger. Yeah, it wasn't video of it, but that evidence showed otherwise. And she got a slap on the wrist. So for me, we can have videos. Look at all the black people that been killed in the past unarmed, and still no justice was served. So um, it's a difference between black laws and white laws. Fresh veggies, yes, the family did. The family have already got a settlement that was from the city. Now, from my understanding, I believe it's also another lawsuit pending. Um, and that's where they going off after the officers wrongful death. Welcome to the show. Orion Thomas is watching on Facebook. You can live chat with us in the chat room. But it's not just about the money though. So don't get confused or get distracted about the settlement. That's not justice for what happened. It's not justice at all. Justice need to be served. We need to hold these people accountable for their action. Because here it is. How many unarmed black people have lost their life to a scary ass cop? Or someone who would lie and say, "Oh, I thought they had a gun. I thought I was in my apartment," but you couldn't recognize nothing around there because you was so tied up trying to set up your booty call. And you killed the man in his apartment. So it been so many incidents where unarmed black people was killed. So please do not get distracted about the fact that the family received the settlement. They still have that pain. That pain don't go away. You cannot pay for peace for that family after what everybody had to witness. That was straight up murder, and he needs to be held accountable. Orion said, "Amen, brother." Orion, I'm gonna tell you, like I tell everybody else, if you go over to the page, Speak On It with Who You With Kurt Dog page, you can actually uh, your chat will come up on my screen, and I can actually put it up on the monitor, just like I'm doing Fresh Veggie. Absolutely, I hate seeing the families taking settlement. I have no problem with them getting settlement, but that do not give them justice. It don't give them justice, and it's a shame that someone have to lose their life over some bogus stuff. That man knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly who George Floyd was. They used to work together, but still, he murdered that man. There's no other way of doing it. I'm saying it. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. but no justice is ever served. Not the right kind of justice. Now, I would say this because several years back, when a Minnesota police officer uh, got scared because him and his partner went on this call and they was parked in a dark alley. Someone walked up on the car. He was on the passenger side. He grabbed this weapon, shot this woman because he didn't know who it was. He thought they was under attack. It's dark. That brother is serving jail time now. They hit her up and charged him, gave him a trial, and he's in jail now. That happened in Minnesota. So it's not that a settlement is going to take the pain away, because it's still a person's life taken for unnecessary reason. Now, I feel like this. If Derek would have followed the protocol, okay, counterfeit bill, that's a federal offense. That's a federal offense because now you're messing with the feds. If he would have followed protocol and checked that bill to make sure it was counterfeit, and if it was, he could have wrote him a ticket, gave it to the FBI, let them investigate it. But he didn't do that. So you got to look at everything about it. That man was wrong. He was wrong. And that's all to it. Radio said the cop that shot the guy in the head on a traffic stop got off after two hung juries, and the prosecutor decided not to try the case again. So anything can happen. Exactly. It could definitely happen. But once again, it's a different justice for different people. It's definitely different. That's why it's so important to register to vote, get out and vote. And when you get those jury duty sermons, show up. That's another way of letting your voice be heard. Because I know people all the time be like, oh man, I gotta get out of this jury, dude. I don't want to take off because they're only gonna pay me $6 for the whole day. But it's your civic duty. Because guess what? A lot of these jurors that go down there, they don't always look like me and you. They're gonna go down there and some of them already in their mind, made up their mind before they ever heard the trial. Guilty. Why? Because of the color of their skin. Unfortunately, that's the society that America have always been like. And that's what we need to stop. That's why we need to get Greg Abbott out of office, because he's part of the issue. Look at him trying to change the voting laws. But Derek need to go to jail. Fresh Veggie said, I lost my mind when I seen the judge get down from her chair and hugging the murderer, shaking my head. That's great. I felt like she was wrong. She was dead wrong. I don't give a damn. She was a cop. You have to separate the two. She was wrong for that. Because if that was a black police officer killed somebody, would you get off the bench then to hug somebody? Hell no, I don't think she would have. I felt like she would have got a harsher sentence. So yeah, it's wrong. When you're in certain positions, you have to be able to separate your feelings and the right decision. You got to be able to make honest decision, and you can't show favoritism. If she had a problem with serving justice with Amber Geiger, and she decided she could not trial a police officer correctly, she should have removed herself from that case. You don't get off the bench to go hug somebody. Fuck her feelings. I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. Because the thing is, who give a damn about her feelings? She killed the innocent man. Because she going to jail, he's not coming back. Because she's up here crying, he's not coming back. I say all the time, you do the crime, you do the time. That's all to it. Far as I'm concerned, that judge was wrong. She was wrong. All to it. You shouldn't, at this point, she never should have done anything like that. Fresh Veggie said there was no reason to have his knee on his neck. They said he was resisting. But how can you resist when you're already in handcuffs? Shaking my head. That's BS. That man wanted to kill him. Yes, because they had a relationship. They used to work at the same club together. And if you notice, in this trial, they haven't said much about the $20 bill. I got a feeling it's going to come out that it was a real $20 bill. Then what? He lost his life for nothing? After y'all done pulled up his background and saying all these things about this dude, and this man is dead. First thing they do when it's especially unfortunately black folks, first time they do something, they pull up their background. All the black people that been killed in the past by a policeman, first thing they did was pull up their background. So yeah, that's a problem. We have to police and protect our own community like we used to. Yeah, I say it all the time. You know, oh baby, them in the neighborhood selling drugs, stealing, breaking into stuff. Got to get them out. Send them packing. Let them go see Big Bubba. Go hang out with Big Bubba, because apparently you coming in your own community, destroying it, making your property value go down. Um, that's just crazy to do that. So yeah, um, that's really jacked up. I know back in the days, hell, I did something in the neighborhood. I ain't got 3 or 4 ass whooping before I made it home. And then when I got home, I ended up getting another one. So people talking about, oh, you shouldn't whoop your kids. I turned that just fine. I turned that good. Let ass whooping don't hurt nobody, long as it's done right. I'm not saying abuse. I'm just saying a little ass whooping don't hurt nobody. Um, Fresh Veggie said that's a whole fact. Um, yeah, and I'm gonna be watching that too. Geiger appeal is coming up on April 27th, probably right after the George Floyd, the Derek Chauvin trial. For the simple fact, they probably gonna try to distract it for what happened after the verdict is done. Then they're turning toward Amber Geiger to try to distract us from the verdict at Derek Chauvin. I pray and hope they do what's right and they hold this man accountable, because this man need to be held accountable. He need to be held accountable for his action. If there was anybody else, they would be in jail. That's just like the black cop a couple of years ago in Farmers Branch. Yeah, he was working off duty at the apartment complex he lived in. That's fine. He was wrong because he pursued these two young kids that was breaking into cars, and they broke into his car. Well, he got in his car, chased them down. They crashed. He shot and killed one and injured the other one. He was wrong. He was wrong. And now he's doing jail time. So I'm like this: what's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. That was wrong. So now, along with that, because also uh, these young boys was driving like a brand new souped up Charger, and I think he was like 17, 18 years old or something. Where you working at? And I'm just saying. Uh, it was some wrong on both sides, and I feel that that officer needed to be held accountable, which he did get his jail time. He's in jail now, so um, so that's I don't believe in showing favoritism just because they black or whatever. I'm gonna call it like I see it. If it's wrong, it's wrong. That's the only way I look at it. Um, He said, "Yep, that's a fact." Yeah, I'm gonna be watching. Back to you, radio. I'm gonna be watching that appeal case because they would try to shorten her time, get her out of jail quicker than what she need to be. I guess she probably got have carpal tunnel now from braiding Big Bertha hair, and she's tired. She want to come home. Well, hey, if it was up to me, you uh, would have got life. T Cal and fled up in the building. T Cal, what's going on? So glad you are back, Kurt. Though, yeah, I'm back. I'm glad to be back. The last couple of weeks been really crazy, but I'm back. I'm in the house. I'm refreshed. And matter of fact, it's I want to say it's today. I have to look at it and see, but let me look and see. I hope I haven't missed it, but we're getting ready to celebrate 1 year of doing this, and it's um uh I'm trying to pull it up and see. Uh, I had the date marked down, but I kind of think it was 1 year. I know it's this week. 1 year ago when I first did my first video. Um, and if y'all go back and watch the first video, y'all gonna be like, "Ooh, he was nervous." Yeah, I was. I was very nervous, but I thank God for um, everyone who have supported me last year, and it been interesting because I said a year and a half ago when I first started talking about doing it. One thing I said I did not want to do was talk about politics. And unfortunately, um, we had a clown in office. Um, so that basically what happened. I was kind of forced into it. But at the end of the day, I cannot complain about anything that I've done over the last year. Because it's been great. We've had some great people that actually came on the show. Um, according to this, it's saying, oh, I messed it up. It was March 30th. March 30th was our 1 year anniversary. That's when I put my first video up on March 30th. So uh, that's a wonderful thing. So, um, radio ask, are the other cops going on trial right after Trump? It's hard to say. They supposed to. at first they wanted to trial them all together. And um thank you, T Cal said, praise God. Yeah, I so praise him because I definitely um I was nervous that first video. It was March 30th last year when I first did the first video. And if you go back and listen to it, you'll be like, ooh, he nervous. I think it was about 2 minutes long. And inviting people to come out and watch the show. So it was um I'm trying to see if uh matter of fact, I'm gonna see if I can look at something else. Because I did that video and I think it was probably a couple of days later before I did another video. Because I wasn't doing them that much when I first came on. Um it was oh, April 6th. So today was when I first did the first video, March 30th. I was talking about inviting people out just to watch the show. And then April 6th, the first show we was talking about the COVID-19. So today is the anniversary. Well, tomorrow is the anniversary. I'm sorry, tomorrow. Today is the 5th. My day is still off. So tomorrow will be the 1 year when we first did our first show talking about the COVID-19, which was I was nervous then, but then as I did it more, it became natural. And a lot of people that know me personally, uh, I'm a very shy person. I'm very shy until you get to know me. So um, when I did it, I was like, man, I don't know. I was nervous, and then I used to have J Mug come on the show with me, uh, just for I wouldn't be that nervous. But now it's like, hey, and I'll be honest, still certain cases I talk about, stories I talk about, I still get nervous. I still get nervous because I want to make sure I'm putting out the right information and not putting out a half story. And I have to be open where um have to be open where I can actually be honest. And I try to keep my own opinion out of it. Um, but sometimes like dealing with um the politicians that we have and also different things that goes on. Um, so I just try to be honest with people. I'm an open book. That's why from time to time I do have ask Kurt Dog anything, and I will answer. I will answer. Um, any advice for up and coming podcasters? Be yourself. Be yourself. Um, that's the only thing I can tell you. Be honest. Be yourself. I tell when I have guests on the show, I tell anybody that comes on the show with me, forget about knowing that you're going all across this world. Just look at the fact that you and I having a conversation, like we're FaceTiming each other. Be yourself. And a lot of time, I try to respect a lot of decisions that I make, and I look at other people's feelings first. But I'm to the point now. You know what? I'm a speak my mind. I think I've been doing a great job speaking my mind, but I'm gonna speak it a little bit more. So hopefully I don't offend anyone with me speaking my mind. But the only way I know how to be is honest, and that's all to it. Appreciate it. You say I do a phenomenal job for being objective. I try to. I do a lot of research when I'm doing stories. Um, a lot of research. and it can take up a lot of time. So it depends on what you're talking about doing as a podcaster. Um, just make sure you're putting out true information, no conspiracy theory, just true information, and be honest with yourself and open. Um, Whatever you're talking about, just be honest about it. Um, but I love what I do. I definitely do, and um, you just have to come out there. And I've had people to come on the show, even Radio Chaos. I believe he's still on here. When he first started listening, he would ask me, "Hey, where you find that information at?" And I will pull it up and let him know, because what I do, I have multiple strings open on my computer. So why? And I have them in order by the way I'm gonna talk about them. So if someone asks me, where did you find that at? Where did you see that? Okay, this is my sources. Whatever I got it from, and I checks multiple sources. I don't just go by the first thing I see, because sometimes you'll run across some of those news outlet that is just basically telling you what you want to hear, and they'll put out false information, because sometimes you'll run across a conspiracy news outlet, and they'll tell you all the things you think that is true. Then they get down to the bottom, talking about President Trump, talking about Trump coming back in 2021. So you have to read the whole story, do your research on it, and be yourself. Be yourself. Um, that's all I can tell you about it. But um, it's definitely it's a lot of work. I didn't expect it to be this much work, but it's a lot to do it. Exactly, there's a lot of fake news. It sounds good until you actually do the research. Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie to you. It's a lot of stories that I run across. I do not talk about, because some of the details of it. Um, some stories actually bring up um, old light wounds or something, or you could get depressed dealing with the stories that I deal with, because sometimes you see some of these things. Um, uh, so it can get bad. It can get bad, mentally bad. So you have to be mentally fit to do to do a lot of research, because if you research in one story, then you turn around, you see this other one, like, ooh, that's interesting. Now you're talking about, ooh, I don't know if I should have read that one. Radio said you had a couple of conspiracy theories on here, not too many though. You have been lucky. Oh, I get them. I get them, just not on YouTube as much, because I did a story about a week or two before I took the break, and I looked at Facebook. That first night I had over 800 views, I believe. I'm like, what the? I'm tripping. I'm like, okay. Next night I think it went up to like 1,100 views or something like that. And then the next show I did, it was a high viewing show too. And I'm reading the comments. It was about the young lady that was killed by the Nashville police officer, the one who ran off from him, and she pulled the gun, he shot her. And I said on the show, that was a justified shooting. She should have been shot, and she was.
But I had a lot of people commenting, "Oh, she got exactly what she needed. She should have just followed direction. She should have did this. She all them comments they made about her." And my response was, apparently you didn't watch the show, because one thing about it, I call it like it is. I only see what's right. She was wrong. First of all, she never should have been trying to run for the police officer. And I said that night, I said the one mistake I seen him make was when he allowed her to go back in the car, and she stayed in there for a long time before she brought her purse out. That's because she probably took the gun out of her purse. That's how she was able to get the gun. Then on top of that, he should have tased her before she got back to the car. But people left all type of comments talking about she deserved exactly what she got. She was wrong. I said that. And finally one person talking about, yeah, I know you said it. I said, so basically you just wanted to troll. You just wanted to be a troll. Okay. Thank you for watching. Like, share, tell a friend. So I still get them. It's just not on YouTube as much. And I get a lot of them. And people will um they'll come on there and say whatever. And what's funny, this one young lady, I know back during the election time, she came on there and said some things, and she's a Trump supporter, but she's also a wife of a pastor at a church somewhere, and she just felt like Trump was the best thing since sliced bread. And whenever I see her come on the page, that's when the rest of them come. I'm like, thank you. Make my numbers go up. I'm okay. Why y'all coming? Why don't you follow the page, like it, for you can know exactly when we come on. But hey, each his own though. I don't I don't troll people. Matter of fact, on that particular show, I talked about this brother that, which I feel like was a big um Uncle Ruckus um from the Boondocks, because anything that dealt with black people, he talked bad about them. Anything that dealt with any black people, he talked bad. He talked about all these families um, that have received a settlement for losing a loved one. They was wrong for that. He talked about the fact that um, Breonna Taylor being killed, said it was her fault because she was a drug dealer. So stuff like that, I don't give a damn about them. I'm gonna speak out about it because you're wrong. And I just so happened to call this show live, and I asked them, "What the hell are you talking about? Are you serious?" It was two brothers on there. Anything dealt with black folks, they talk bad about it. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. This cannot be true. I thought I was being pumped or something. I didn't know what was going on. So a lot of people love having Trump tools in their mouths, shaking my head. I never seen so many black people looking at him like he's their Lord and Savior. Yep, a lot of people feel that way, and they don't understand. Even Trump gonna meet his judgment day. We all gonna have to go down that road. I like the guy that came on here and said he found voting ballots in in a chicken coop. Yeah, talking about somebody threw some in the chicken coop. Somebody threw some in the lake. He called the police and they told him, "Well, do you have pictures of them?" He never had his cell phone on him. And the chicken ate up the ballots. Matter of fact, he said he seen a van that said Biden Harris on the outside of the polling place carrying out boxes of ballots, and they dropped some. That police department should have came and arrested him just for calling in, wasting 911. Somebody else could have had an emergency, and they should have arrested his ass for that. Um, yeah, but that's cool. So this week you're gonna hear some stuff. So brace yourself for some of the things that's gonna come up uh, this week and moving forward. So I'm just saying, brace yourself for it. Um, I know I talked about it a while back. I'm gonna try to. I think I might try to do it Wednesday, um, leading into um, Miss Risky thing on Thursday. I need to verify she's still gonna do it on Thursday. So Miss Risky, if you're listening, shoot me a text real quick. Let me know you're still on for Thursday. Um, but what we're gonna do a lot of different stories that is gonna be coming up that we're gonna talk about. That is gonna hopefully open some eyes to some things. So so hopefully we able to still do that Thursday. She sent me a message yesterday, I think, of what else she's gonna talk about on Thursday. So um, it's gonna be interesting, and uh, that's the way that we're gonna be changing the show up. So if y'all looking at this old nice uh, format, it's gonna be interesting these next couple of days. Um, I didn't know she had a Cadillac commercial. I haven't been watching TV that much for the last couple of weeks, but I didn't know she had one. I know my crush had a Cadillac commercial, Regina King, and but Tamika Mallory, I didn't know she had one. But I'm like this: if she had one, if Cadillac is supporting the cause, I had no problem with it. And if they are supporting, truly supporting the cause, because it came out that some of these companies that after January 6th that was stopped supporting certain political parties uh, or elected officials. I seen a report where they have started to support them again. Now, if Cadillac is one of those, I don't think it's a good move. But then again, she got to. Some people look more toward the dollar bill. Now, I like Tamika Mallory as a person because the sister, whenever I hear her speak, I try to listen in because she's very intelligent. She's on the front line. Who knows? Maybe they'll sponsor for her, sponsoring her with a Cadillac because she travels so much, uh, being on the front line of different things. And so I don't know. I didn't know she was driving a Cadillac, but um, so I have no feelings about it. Now now if Cadillac is trying to make her sell out, I have a problem with it. That's my personal opinion. But I don't see her selling out. That's kind of like when people were saying Ice Cube was selling out about what he said about the black votes and stuff like that. I don't see Ice Cube selling out because Ice Cube is very intelligent. Um, I'm like this, and that's the same thing I said about Biden. Um, Yeah, Biden made some mistake early in his politician life, and people brought that up last year during the election, talking about him. He's made policy to send black people to jail. It was not just black people, but it was a lot of people. Um, so let me see if I know how to do this real good. Add to the block list. So he's gone. Um, um, I could have swore I got him off. So um, some people giving her hell about that because of the history behind Cadillac. At some point, we well see that's the problem with America. I'm gonna break it down like this. Any companies that have been around longer than like Cadillac, because let the truth be told, uh, the history of it, it was a brother or two brothers that came out with a nice car, and then all of a sudden they end up going out of business or something. It was a black owned car manufacturer, and then all of a sudden Cadillac came around, ran them out of business. Because you got to realize that a lot of stuff that we have created over the years actually came from black people. Then they end up getting strewed out of it and end up somebody else come along and take their idea. That's why they started doing patents to make sure to try to protect the creator. So as for Cadillac, yeah, they've been around so long. I'm sure the history of them is not all that good. It's not good. No way it could be good because they was back in the days when it was just a straight up good old boy world. It still is, but the only difference is they can't do it like they used to do it. So uh so that's but if Cadillac still had that same mindset, I'd be like, no, forget them. I wouldn't support them. But I don't see them doing that. Just like Biden changed his mind about his politics, and he made a point to make it known he made mistakes in the past. And it's okay to make mistakes as long as you not continue to make those mistakes and you are changing the way that you've done it in the past. So it's a complete different out of it. Um, Silly Puttin could sponsor Ted, Ted Cruz. That would be a good fit. Yeah, Ted, I don't see nobody who need to support him. Um, I don't know. I guess we can maybe we could get a campaign to send him back to uh, Canada. Maybe they'll support that. Taking them back to Canada. So, but man, it feels good coming back. Because seemed like as soon as I decided to take time off, all type of stuff started happening. Had uh, what was that? The shooting in Atlanta, and I really wanted to come back home, but I needed that break. Um, I feel that with that case, we need to watch it too, because that officer that said he was having a bad day set the tone to what could happen, to what could come. And we need to pay attention to that. Because just because you have a bad day do not mean you could go and shoot up people of another race. Now, NBC came out during that time and said uh, black people should be graceful to the Asian community. Now, this is my opinion. Racism is wrong across the board, but a lot of people do not realize it until it knock on their front door. When they knock on their front door, that's when uh, they start to pay attention to it. But when all these unarmed black people was being killed, these same people that is now feeling what we've been feeling for years, now they want to speak out. We should have that same outrage, regardless of the color of the person. If it's a race attack, we need to call it out. We need to stand together, not just because it's the Asian community, but also the black community. Don't just don't just say something just because it's dealing with the Asian community. What about the black community? How many lives going to be lost, have been lost in the black community due to racism? I seen a video last night. A young man driving down the street. I forgot what city it was, but it came out he didn't have no headlights on. And because he didn't have no headlights on, um, it came out when the officer pulled them over. He pulled them over as a felony stop. And just so happening, the mother was there. And she telling the officer, "That's my son. That's my son." But because he didn't have headlights on, they did a felony stop. And I said I was going to do a research because this officer excuse was, and I don't know if this is true or not, but so many officers lie, so I don't know. He said, well, it was just a drive-by shooting. And I did a felony stop because of that. And the mother said, he asked the mother, "Do you understand why I did it?" She said, "No, I don't." Now, the thing is, I'm going to find that story. I'm going to do research and see if it was a drive-by shooting in that area. If it's not, that cop need to be held accountable for headlights. That's the difference. Fresh Veggie asked, "Do you think some of these mass shooting and attacks on Asians are orchestrated to distract us from something else?" I don't deal with conspiracy. I haven't seen no evidence to prove that. So I'm going to say no. But I will say we still need to get out and vote. We need to hold these people accountable that is doing this. Because the first thing they said that he told them, it wasn't race motivated. It wasn't race motivated for him to do those type of shooting. It's because he was a pedophile, allegedly a pedophile. He was addicted to sex, to porn. And he visited those places several times. And he felt like he needed to get him out for he wouldn't have that struggle no more. So to be honest with you, no. Because if you first thing you say, it had nothing to do with race. That's just jacked up. Um, Fresh Veggie said over 400 many years of black oppression. None of these Asian attacks have anything on over 400 plus years of physical, verbally, mentally abuse of blacks. And see, not only that, I still say it's wrong. What that coward did was wrong. It was wrong. Any racism is wrong. But unfortunately, sometimes when we go to some of these places, um, that is we go to different business in our communities. When it's dealing with black folks, we get treated wrong. That's why I don't support business that I don't get proper service with. I don't care what color you are. I'm gonna talk about that a little bit later this week because I had a situation where something like that happened with our own folks, and I'm gonna talk about that too because I'm like this. It was wrong. If you say you're gonna do something, you need to do it. If not, I'm not spending money with you. I need to be treated with respect. If not, I'm not spending money with you. So that's just me. Um, he just wanted a happy ending, I guess. And on that, I think we're gonna end end the show on that one because I don't know. Um, it's crazy. It's crazy. He was wrong for what he did, and he need to be held accountable. It's no justifying it or anything like that. He need to be held accountable. Um, Crazy thing is, I get treated worse when I try to support black business. I'm like, damn, whew, you preaching to the choir. See, the thing is, I'm very outspoken. My wife tell me all the time, you're normally pretty calm and peaceful person, except for when it come down to customer service. That would run you from 0 to 100 real quick. I'm spending my money. I expect to get everything I'm supposed to get. Dealing with people, it's not good. It's not good. I actually had that incident that happened last week. Um, I'm gonna talk about it tomorrow because I'm already past my time. I'm gonna talk about it tomorrow, but yeah, it's hard, and I'm always trying to support, especially black business, small business. I try to support them, but unfortunately, some of us fail because of customer service, because of several reasons. Sometimes they products are not the best. I'm not saying all because I support a lot of black owned business and I support other business too in my community. But a lot of our black owned business fail mainly because of customer service and their product. They selling you something that they're not giving you. And I have a problem with that. But I'm gonna talk about that tomorrow. So it's I had an incident last week that happened, which really pissed me off. So, uh, and it was crazy um, because the thing is, you knew exactly what I wanted, and you said you could do it, make it happen, and it didn't happen. So, because of that, like I said that day, I won't support you again. That I won't do. So, but hey, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Tomorrow night, uh, I'm gonna talk about a couple of things tomorrow. Then for the ones that been kicking it with me for the last year, I want to hear from y'all tomorrow because it's been a year already. I've been doing this and had some good times, some bad times, and we'll talk about that tomorrow too. So definitely let me know. Radio said my landscaping guy told me that he couldn't care less if I didn't like his work. See, I cut his ass off. My landscaping guy, um, I've been dealing with him for oh, probably over 10 years now. And great, very good. If I'm not at home and I normally sell the money to him now, but if I'm not at home, before he got up to high tech and started doing sale, he'll be like, "Hey, I just get it next time." Always done a great job. If it's something extra I need for him to do, like cut the bushes down, he had no problem with doing it. He might charge me an extra $5 or $10 to trim them or whatever. That's fine. But I believe in paying people for their work. And I'm gonna talk about that tomorrow too, because oh Lord, I was tested last week. But yeah, I'm gonna talk about that a little bit more in detail tomorrow on that part. Cause and I would just say this for everybody who is trying to support business that is advertising on social media, do your research. Don't just go by with what they're posting. Do your research. That's where I failed that last week. I blame myself. From what I seen that was being posted, looked good. Looked like Eric got his all his ducks in a row. Nah, never happen again. So, but tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Time, I will be back. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Um, Even if you haven't been kicking it with me for the whole year, I want to hear from y'all tomorrow. Let me know how y'all feel about the show. Yeah, true honesty about the show. Let me know exactly how you feel. If uh, hey, I have tough skin, so be honest with me. Let me know what changes you want to see this next year and coming forward, because we are going to be making some hell of a changes. So we're going to be doing more things. Miss Riskin, I'm trying to get her own night on the show, just to show for herself, but she's working on a lot of stuff, so she's not ready to share that, but she's doing some big major things in the background for herself. So other than that, I will see y'all tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Time. If no one told you that they love you, I love each and every one of you. Love your spouse, your your kids if you have them. I love your family, because I will tell you now, my family have really been very supporting these last couple of months. And um, even though I wasn't on, I was still doing our family call. And I thank God for my family. So um, I love each and every one of you. Salute to you. Fresh Veggie. Until tomorrow night.